minute just to have a think about that. So have a think about a redundant tech item that you've got and what you can do to add value to it. You've got a minute starting now. So a redundant item of tech that you no longer require and something that you can do to add value to that. So you've got just coming up to 30 seconds left. Okay, just coming up to 20 seconds left. Your redundant item and something that you can do to add value to it. Okay, we're just coming up to the last 10 seconds. I'll count you down the last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay, so hopefully I have some good examples about tech that you no longer need. Adrian, what's the best way? I'm conscious we've got quite a few classes looking in. Are we going to take this on people speaking, or should we do it in the chat? Any preferences?
I think some of those some of the participants may not have access to the PC, so they can't do the chat. As you can see, some of them are in the classroom.
Yeah, Adrian, that's great. Thank you. I thought that might well be the case. I'll just check. So let's take this on a voluntary basis. I'm just going to take a couple of examples just to warm us up for today. Would somebody like to unmute and volunteer and just share one item of redundant tech that you no longer require, and then what you would do to add?
Give them a second because they're slightly shy.
Okay, I can understand that, completely. In fact, just to kick us off, perhaps I can jump to Adi. I'll introduce Adi and Rani in a second, but just to give us a flavour. Adi, can you think of one item of redundant tech that you no longer need and what you might be able to do to add value to it?
Well, there are some in front of me as well as I'm speaking with you. So one of them I can think of is EcoDot. It's a good tech. There's no harm in that. But if I have to change something to it, would just make it that it doesn't work on power, because currently it is plugged in power and I just have few sockets in my extension boards and it's just occupying one extra slot. So I'll just make it cordless and try to have it something which is like not relying on power heavily, and it has to be plugged in 24/7. So yeah, if that's possible, then I'll just able to make it something like that and have it flexible to carry it wherever I like, because it's totally amazing in terms of AI. It's just the power.
So Adi, that's a great example. Thank you very much. So a piece of tech that you no longer need at the moment, it's using a plug socket, and you need the plug sockets for that. You would make it cordless for that and easier to carry around as well.
Yep.
So great stuff. Okay, Adi, thank you very much for that. Great example to kick us off. Thank you. We'll be jumping back with you in a second, Adi. I've also got in the chat, somebody has posted CD player and cassette tapes as well. So a good example with those. And I suspect you might polish it up, clean it, again, maybe change the batteries around or put batteries into it. And maybe repackage the cassette tapes as well. Okay, so some great examples to kick us off. Adi, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for whoever posted in the chat, and to Adrian and to Angela as well, just to get us warmed up to think about things. Okay, so we're looking at digital and social media marketing today. And obviously the role that tech plays, the increasing role that tech plays in all of our lives in the running of our businesses. And I'm delighted to welcome today two of our digital entrepreneurs in residence, Adi and Rani, who have established a digital business, have built that business up, and obviously use social media as an effective part of their business strategy. So they're going to talk us through how they got started and some of the kind of challenges they face and how they use technology for that. And I'll also allow opportunity at the end. So for any questions towards the end, please let me know. I will put an opportunity in for questions then as well. So Adi and Rani, very warm welcome to both of you. We've got a good number. You can see on the screen we've got classes joining us from all over Asia. So a very warm welcome to everybody. I appreciate it's afternoon now. Would you perhaps both do a quick introduction of yourselves, if you would, and then just how you got started on your digital entrepreneurship journey?
Well, thank you, Richard, for introducing us. And I can see there are lots of students over there. So hello, everyone. I'm Aditya. You can call me Adi. I'm from India, and my business partner, Maharani, which is my very good friend as well. She's from Indonesia. So we started our journey individually. We came for Masters in Lancaster University. So I have a computer science background. She has a business background. And then we did MSc E-Business and Innovation, which was from 2017 to 2018. And during that time, at the end of the course, we have an option to pick up from either startup dissertation, consultancy dissertation, or research one. So mine was startup dissertation, and I had a startup idea at that time. So it was very great from my supervisor side as well to tune that startup idea and make it as a business ready idea. So I just discussed that idea through Rani, as Rani was part of accelerator program in Lancaster Uni, which was work in progress entrepreneurship department. So she also had another idea of selling, of actually renting library books, which was a great idea as well. So we just discussed these two and we figured out okay, there's something to proactively or to something to move forward with the one I did for dissertation. So let's start up the business with that. So we started off by literally so we both used to have that common tie of food and culture, and we started off by literally inviting our friends and selling our own cuisines to them. And because of course in UK you cannot do business based on your student visa, so we just need to find out a way to do a market testing. So we did a test run with our friends, told them that, hey, what if we have a online platform where you can order homemade food, which is generally Indian or Chinese food. And they were like, yeah, that's great. So we just did a simulation, and long story short, everything worked fine. And in 2019, we started with Garchi, which is a combination of Hindi and Chinese word. So Gar is home, Chi is to eat, or food. So it's coming together as homemade food. And we started off with 3 chefs, which were Thai, Lebanese, and Indian. And then over the period of time, we saw that our business, it is not exactly a sustainable model in UK. So we just need to make it an innovative model. So we tried to introduce something at that time, which was not happening anywhere. So we had a discussion with Richard as well. And thanks to Richard that he guided us very well. And he's our mentor as well. So he guided us that maybe you want to come up with an idea, which is instead of having a one-to-one delivery, you can come up with a luxurious catering service, which makes it special for a special moment for people. And at that time, I still remember Richard gave us an example of Ferrari, why people would like to buy a Ferrari and how the luxury of the car is important in the price. So if we want to, because we were underselling ourselves, we were selling something very precious, but we weren't selling it at an actual price that it should be sold, and we were selling it to wrong customers market. So that's our 2 mistakes that we did. So we came up with this occasional event catering where we kind of started to deliver food. We never prepared food. It's just our beautiful chefs. They used to prepare the food, and we used to have that order to our platform and then manage the delivery from our side, which picked up skyrocketed. It just was from day 1 to day 2, it just moved like this. And we were in our fairy land that, okay, business is growing up and everything is going well. And all of a sudden, COVID kicked in. So we need to stop our business operations completely because, of course, our delivery drivers were not okay to go out and do delivery during these hard times. And also it was difficult for chefs to manage the materials and prepare food and everything. And of course, there weren't any events, so of course you cannot do any deliveries as well. Then we thought this is not something we should be doing, because today it is COVID, tomorrow it might be something else, then it might be something else. And we don't want to just sit back at our home and just wait for that phase to go off and our business is stagnant or it's totally shut down. So we came up with an idea, like we already have something, which was our platform. Why not make that platform available to city markets or local charter markets? So in UK, there are in every city or in every town, you have this local farmers market where you get fresh farm food and also certain local varieties of products. And somehow those people didn't have any online platform. So we thought of, okay, let's create a platform for them and let them sell their products through our platform. So we went to the city market after the first phase of lockdown was over, when we were allowed to meet face to face. That time we discussed our idea with the people there. They find it kind of challenging, because first they were already shocked by COVID and they have to recover their business from that. And secondly, bringing a digital phase for them. For us, it is not new, but for them, it was totally new. And bringing that online e-commerce thing for them was totally challenging. So we have to pivot our business again, and we have to come up with something which is borderless. It's not limited to UK and anyone could use it. So after around 6-7 pivots, we came up with a headless CMS solution. So for those who are new to this term, headless CMS refers to you. So you focus on your front end of your app. It could be mobile app or web app. And the backend, it's taken care by software as a service or some service. In this case, it's us. So we modified our product into a software as a service headless CMS solution. And we got tremendous response for that. And based on that, on a sideline, me and Rani were both freelancing, because we also had our side projects. So we thought, okay, we have now some digital idea. Why not start another business related to this, which is not exactly an agency, but we came up with something like, why not we become a digital doctors and treat others' business and try to have some maybe modification in their tech stack or something which will help them to grow and innovate their business. So we started up with second business, but we didn't know how to name it, because we wanted to come up with a name which is understandable and people would find it, because of course your brand name also matters in terms of marketing. So we discussed again with Richard and other people, and they thought that why not if you bring up with a name which shows that owners are also involved in it. So we thought of, why not we just combine our name and slice it. So Aditya's Adi and Rani's Rani, we bring it together and started with Adi Rani Digital Solutions. And then we got tremendous response for that. And recently we are working with a very big contract. And also we have added another service to it, which is digital skill development, because it's mostly about making people aware from any background, with non-technical or technical, like how digital skills are important. And we teach them those basics to advanced digital skills. And also on sideline, Rani has a wonderful project, which is empowering Asian women or underprivileged people. And I have my own YouTube channel, which is about programming. And it's mostly dealing about how you can make programming as easy as possible and as simple as possible. And also other side projects, like she also has a beautiful gaming channel where she streams a lot. And I have my own side projects where I mentor students one-to-one from anywhere and help them understand in the computer science journey how they can grow if they're from non-tech background, how they can make it easy, or how it could be easy for them to have a career shift if they're going from non-technical to technical. So that's enough of talking from me. And that's all about us in a nutshell. It's not actually a nutshell, it's a long story book, but still, I would let Rani add something to it. If Rani, you want to add something?
Hi, everyone. I think Adi pretty much covered everything, just to add some details. So before going to UK, I did my undergrad in Japan in social science. And then I went back to Jakarta. I worked for 4 years in the industry and then go to UK, there's a switch of career there from management into somewhat of a tech. And then until now, accumulating all of those tech, learning from experiences, also learn from Adi as well. And what else?
Thank you very much, Adi and Ronnie. Ronnie, would you just talk a little bit about your sort of background, any kind of your journey for that, and kind of reflecting back on that, and any messages that you might have for any Asian female entrepreneurs who might be considering business?
Yeah, sure, absolutely, Richard. I think one key word that comes to my mind would be confidence, because I realized that up until now, the biggest obstacle would be self-confidence, which is like low in self-confidence. It's like I know that I wanted to start business even before coming to UK, even when I was still in did my undergrad in Japan and then even in Indonesia. I know that I have a dream of starting a business, but there's always a but there. There's always like, but I don't know how to start, but I don't have how to fund it, but I don't know what sort of service I could offer. So many buts, basically. So then like basically, just try things here and there. Like trying things means like get as many experience, not necessarily in career, but if there's something that I'm interested in, like, okay, let's try doing this, and like meet someone new. Okay, let's try meet and know the person, because you never know who they will be. Maybe they will be helpful to you in the future, but it's not saying that approach them because they will be helpful, but just for the sake of knowing the people. And especially now, since coming to UK, one thing that I researched was whether they have a support for entrepreneurship, and they actually do. So I wanted to be involved, but because we did Masters, and Master is just 1 year. So there are not enough times, like especially new country, new schedule, and then there's also the time zones difference as well. So many things to adjust. I could only start joining the entrepreneurship program, not the degree program, but the help they have, around the second year. So we started in October, but I think I started around April. And that's how I joined the accelerator program that Adi just mentioned. Well, long story short, it's all about building confidence, like trying here and there, as well as Adi and Richard has been very focal, very instrumental, basically, like pushing me and like, just try it. You can do it. You have it on you. You're just not confident about it, which is actually true. So I would say it's been growing. And there was a time where I didn't think like I don't think I'm tech enough. Like I'm not like Adi who could code or everything, right? But the fact that I know stuff, like I know how cloud computing works, what sort of services that would be suitable for cloud computing, a bit about blockchain as well. So, okay, that's enough. Like that's enough to call you a tech person as well.
Okay, Ronnie, thank you very much for that and be able to share your journey. Obviously, we're here today. We're talking about Lancaster University Management School that both you and Adi went to. Just for the benefit of everyone on the call, would you talk a little bit about the support? How did it help you?
The management school in general.
Yes, please, and the wider university as well. So let's start with the management school, and we can touch on work in progress as well if you'd like.
Oh yeah, LUMS. I would say, looking back, it has opportunities, like not just in terms of the program, but also even the space. because one thing I noticed is the hub. So in the building, in the management school, there's this like a plaza or like a huge space. It's called the hub, where people can meet and then they can also do events or whatnot. And when it comes to business school, then usually you'll most likely you'll be assigned to group works, and you cannot avoid that, sorry to say. And so having a space like the hub, which is such a very, you could say, like, okay, let's meet in the hub. People will, if people don't know, they will just search LUMS, the hub. Okay, that's it. And you sit there, and then chances are you can see other people as well. Which is really great, because you never know. You sometimes like, I think I know you, and then you can start, the conversation can start from there. So it kind of flows organically. And
Richard, if I could just ask a quick question, or perhaps summarize what Adi and Rani has, or the details that they've went through just now, right? So Rani is from Indonesia, and she has basically done her undergrad from Japan and has joined Lancaster University Management School as well. She partnered with Adi to launch a food business, if I heard that correctly, right? And basically Rani is specializing on the business aspect of it, while Adi was coaching Rani and partner with her in terms of the systems and the IT portion of it. So it was, a good partnership there. Perhaps Rani, you could maybe give us a bit of detail on, the initial part. I'm sure there are some instances where, there are some specific struggles that you have went through, and how Adi and perhaps even Richard, help you through that. And, just to get us to that success story afterward, if that makes sense.
Rani, we're back with you.
Okay, so basically you want me to share how
the struggle, and any example of the specific struggle that you have went through when you were starting the business, or when you were, in the development part of the business, and how perhaps Adi and Richard, guide you through it.
Okay. Mostly it's on the tech side. In terms of the business side, I would say, because we both came from Asian background, yes, there's a bit of differences here and there, but there are more similarities from where we both come from, me and Adi. So we approached the business when we started with Garchi, the food business. We approach it more on Asian mindset in the sense that people, okay, there must be lots of people who do home cooks, like either, I'm not demeaning it, I'm not saying it to demean it, but that's how the reality, like housewives or even people who stay at home, they make food and then they sell it to people, basically, because at least among the Indonesian diaspora here, we do have people who sell foods most of the time, Indonesian foods, which is really great in terms of showing in terms of our food as well. So that's how we approach things. But it's not as easy as that, because maybe in Indonesia, in India, like, okay, I have this idea of selling food, make the food, and then ask our friends, hey, I'm selling this. And then your friend will, if they like it, they will tell it to their friends. Not exactly how it works here, because there's this thing called, people are very strict in terms of food standards, food hygiene and everything. So you have to go through that training, you have to go through that auditing. So basically there's already the legal administrative work, which is really important. But not really sure that the kind of target audience we had in mind, excuse me, would be willing to go through that process. So in this sense, Richard has been very helpful in terms of like rethinking of who our target audience should be and what sort of people, what sort of things they like. So why don't we just group it into a catering that would be more cost effective also in terms of our size as a middleman, you could say, because we're selling the platform basically. And in terms of the tech, Adi has been constantly telling me, you are a tech person, you are a tech person. Although I'm sorry to say that I didn't think of myself, even after graduating my degree, that I know enough, because it's been a huge leap from my career to the tech world. Like I flunked, like there are coursework that I didn't do very well, but I managed to graduate it. But it's still there. It's still there. Only until recently, I realized that when it comes to tech, it's not like learning history or learning science, where the knowledge is pretty much constant. Every day in tech, it changes. And every day, basically, you have to learn. So there will be that sense of discomfort, the feeling that I don't understand this, I don't know this. It's normal. It's normal. It will be there. Adi, I think you might want to add in this.
Well, you said it right. Like it's not like history or geography that you need to be updated every day. And best way to do it is like just have at least 15 minutes throughout your day to just read on what is going around in the tech world. You can get it. Like there's lots of forums and blogs who are writing articles on that. You can just subscribe to one, or you can just pick up anyone from the Google, like just type it there and just get the trending news, and that should be fine.
Do you also want to say? Oh, sorry, Richard.
Carry on, Rani.
Yeah. Adi, do you want to give an example of how you coach me?
Yeah, sure. So apart from mentoring students, I have to also mentor people in businesses, and it starts from, so I'm a motivational speaker as well. So I have to start from their soft skills or their personal attitude towards any problem. So in terms of Rani, she has a very typical attitude towards tech that I'm coming from a non-tech background and I have zero confidence in it and that. So I just gave her example of some people, which was real. In reality, they existed. They came from super non-tech background. They just worked a little bit harder to get to a stage. And now they portray themselves as someone who invented computers. So they try, if they have that level of confidence, I'm not saying the one who invented a computer, but some people who portray that they actually invented a computer. So if you want to say yourself in any field, whether it's tech or non-tech, I told her, like, it's all about confidence. If you know X, you don't need to know 5X or 10X, because of course you're not a Google. Google exists for a reason. And if you don't know the answer, you just need to know how to handle a question. In terms of like, let's someone asks you a tech question, you don't have to get panic, or you don't have to sweat in front of them that I don't know or something like that. Just say that I don't know. That's fine. They cannot know anything. That helped her to build up some confidence in her. And then purposely, I used to give her certain tasks to work on, saying that, oh, I'm super busy, can you please do it? And something like that, even though I had plenty of time, but just to make sure that she's comfortable. And always, whenever she used to fail, that I used to give her some space that, okay, that's fine. It's totally normal. It's totally new to you. You will fail. That's nothing new. Just take it as a learning and move forward. And with time, I guess she had that consistency, and she had that attitude to assimilate that knowledge in her. She had that attitude to anything goes. I have to be at this point. So that helped her a lot to reach to what she's to a point to where she is right now. So I would say, like, even though I taught her, I mentored her, but it's her who took that initiative to reach where she is.
Adi and Rani, thank you very much for that. Really interesting to kind of explore that aspect of journeys. We talked about the importance of confidence, which I think is a key aspect of entrepreneurship. You also talked about, I think you talked about this really well, about this constant evolution of technology. This isn't just something that you can reach point X and you've acquired all the knowledge. Actually, the need to keep constantly updated. And you talked about allocating 15, 20 minutes every day to look at, kind of developments and different progress, subscribing to, to different things.
Yeah.
And obviously creativity and innovation is such an important part of the market for that. Adi, did you find that Lancaster University Management School was a good environment for kind of immersing yourself in kind of creativity and innovation?
Okay, I'll give you my own example, like how management school helped me. Apart from being professors being super helpful, like super helpful, it's very true that environment where you are in, it matters a lot. So as Rani said, that in management school, there is a space where you have like a coffee area, a breakout area, and at the site, you have a wall of fame for entrepreneurs and residents. And whenever, personally, I used to pass that, I used to think like one day we will be there. And even though we worked hard for it, we had so many people to help, especially Richard, who is our mentor. But initiating that dream in you, that's where management school played a vital role. It put that that trigger in you that, okay, you have to be there. You need to go there. And also it helps you to, like, if you're a person who believe in yourself and who is kind of like believing in dreams to come true, management school does a good job for you guys. Like, it makes you sure that, okay, this is where you are, this is where you could go, or you can go beyond this. And also in terms of resources, there are ample of resources available in terms of, like, if I want to speak with someone even right now, in terms of getting some advice on business or advice on something that I don't know about, I can just email anyone and they will connect me with the correct person. So when I say anyone, it could be any professor, and they will connect me with the correct person. So it's a good network, and it's kind of like, I would say it's a community where you will get answers to many things, and you will always see a help whenever you ask.
So, Adi, that's a great answer. Thank you very much for adding all that detail to understand, because there's the qualification. Obviously, qualification is critical and is the kind of core, but actually around that, there's this kind of wrap around of additional benefits. You both talked about the hub as this kind of idea where you bump into people. Ideas just happen. Creativity just happened. You talked about the support that was available within the management school, and as alumni, the careers team that give lifelong support available to help you. You can tap back into, whether that's me or any of the teaching staff, to help you progress on your journey.
Yep.
Adi, I'm conscious in terms of time, and we were going to also talk about the relevance of key platforms. What do you think are the most important platforms currently, and why? And what do you think ones in the future might be?
So could you repeat the question, Richard, in terms of, did you say relevance of?
Sure, Adi. So platforms, I'm thinking particularly about how you use YouTube for argument's sake for that.
Yeah.
So the relevance of platforms at the moment, because we talked about how quickly all of that turns over. We can all think about things that were very popular 5 years ago that are just nowhere now for that. What are the current platforms, and what do you see in the future, and how do you utilize those current platforms?
So I'm a YouTuber and also a YouTube partner program person, so I cannot say anything more on that better. So the reason being, like, so when you go on YouTube or any platform which is more focused on content creation, it could be Facebook also, or Twitter, anywhere, it matters on your attitude, because so there are two categories in this. One who spend 4 or 5 hours just scrolling through their screen and end up doing nothing, and the others, they try to find the opportunities. So if you have or see from the opportunities point of view, there are ample of opportunities on each of this platform in terms of marketing, in terms of coming out of something new, in terms of making something innovative. Personally, I feel TikTok and YouTube, they are something which a tremendous on rise and something which might have a broader scope. The reason being that both these platforms allow you to not just have a channel of monetization, but also allows you to market yourself, to express yourself, it could be professional, it could be personal, it could be business oriented. It allows you to do it very well. In terms of Facebook and Twitter, I feel if you're coming from a technical background or from a computer science background, and if you want to do a tech business, personally, I feel Twitter is a better option because most of the tech people or most of these tech related people, they might not have LinkedIn, but they definitely have a Twitter account. So I would say it's something, and also you can just do it something useful in that. So it's very useful. So in that case, I find Twitter to be something which can have a future scope. And from the professional point of view, yes, LinkedIn is there. But nowadays, LinkedIn has become a mixture of professional Facebook. But overall, it is something which you can use it to get leads, you can use it to get network. And not to mention, like in terms of machine learning, all these platforms are utilizing it very, very well. And you don't have to think on what to do. They already advise you on what to do. So in that case, cannot pick specifically one, but yeah, can need to pick these specific platforms, which has a tremendous future. And also, if you're coming from different background or stream, then you might be beneficial from the Facebook or let's say some other platform that you are aware of.
Okay, Adi, thank you very much for that. Rani, is there anything you'd like to add in terms of key platforms at the moment and then platforms to keep an eye on for the future?
For now, before that, can I clarify that the people here can access YouTube and most of the American social media?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Because I'm just conscious, we've been talking about all of this, but then if people cannot access that, then what's the use? But anyway, I would say at the moment it's YouTube because right now they have started to become like all in one app. It's not just about video. It's not just about long form video, but especially with YouTube Shorts, they want to rival with TikTok as well as Instagram Reels. And they also already have community tabs, maybe not for everyday kind of user, but for people who are like content creators who are already in a partner program like Adi here. That is equivalent to like Twitter or Facebook or however people usually use their community building. Not to the extent of Discord yet, because that's a totally different field. And now they are introducing handle. So YouTube will have username, like the users will have a username. Like, so if you have Instagram, then like your username is something. YouTube now is going to introduce that as well. So it will make communicating, engaging with the content much more seamless like other social media channels. So YouTube is definitely number one for now. TikTok, if they cannot innovate, then it might get behind. But at the moment, in terms of short form content, TikTok is still dominating. And I think that's it, Richard. Oh yeah, just one more thing. It's also possible that in the few years' time, these social media channels are trying to integrate Web3, NFT, and everything. Even because Twitter is also like the most prevalent in this. They have already started with the introduction of not the circle, but they want to rival Clubhouse, where you can share audio with a certain group. I forgot the name in the Twitter, but Twitter has been really big on that. And that's where NFT metaverse users are in. So if any of you are interested on NFT and metaverse, Twitter is the place where you want to be, basically.
Rani, thank you very much for that. And we talked about this kind of constant evolution You were talking about, that TikTok needs to continue to innovate to maintain its position, or runs, the risk of being pushed out by YouTube and other platforms. A nice example about just how dynamic and fast-moving that sector is, and the importance about being at the forefront of that. Also, what an exciting sector that it is at the moment. I'm conscious on time. I think Adrian might want to add a few notes at the end as well, perhaps. But Ronnie, what's your message? If you look, we've got classes who've been listening into you and Andy telling your story, the importance of the digital market. What's your message to students who are considering about, possibly coming to Lancaster University Management School, developing their, academic careers, perhaps a career in digital? What would your message be?
Yeah, sure. I would say keep an open mind on things, and if that's something that you're interested in, or also like when it comes to the place, if it looks like it's a place that you're more likely to go into, because the good thing about Lancaster is that, yes, it's a city, but it's a peaceful city, and you don't have that many disruptions as bigger city could have. So if that's the kind of place where we would like to be at, surrounded with green grasses, and then you can see cows, basically cows and sheep, then like that's your choice. But I mean, I would say don't let, oh, but the other might be better because of blah blah blah, etc. That it's really up to you. But I would say just go for choose something that you really like, rather than what other things you should like.
Okay, Rani, thank you very much for that. And you talked about this, we're a campus-based university, so essentially, it's, you're living within that community. You get to know lots of people on campus, and particularly within the management school, you get to know lots of people. And talking about actually somewhere that you could feel comfortable, somewhere that feels right for you, your decision, away from kind of external influences for that. Okay, Rani, that's great. Thank you very much. Adi, what would your kind of final message be to everybody?
Well, I would be super honest, like you guys might have come across other universities also, like with certain similar sessions or certain other, like something similar to this. Like personally, I went through this as well when I was applying through India, in India for Masters abroad through a consultancy service. But when I see Lancaster universities compared to other universities, I find it is more organic in terms of not just in terms of academic or student life, but also in terms of your personal life. Because as Rani said, it is a countryside, not exactly countryside, but a mix of countryside and city, which you will never regret to have in your life. And secondly, it's everything is accessible from here. So if you're thinking in terms of like, okay, in big cities, you have access to everything. And in cities like Lancaster, you cannot access these things or that thing. Well, it might be something you might want to consider that, yes, it is accessible. So there are certain myths about it. And I would say like, if you're choosing any university, whether it's Lancaster or anything, you might want to see your interest, your consistency in that, and your confidence in terms of how or what you see yourself after you come out of that. And I'm not marketed or affiliated by Lancaster Uni, but from my personal experience, I can say that in Lancaster Uni, Lancaster Uni is one of those unis which you will, when you get into it, you will come out as something special or something changed.
Adi, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much to both of you. And just to kind of sum that up, Lancaster University Management School is a world-leading management school. We talked on the kind of call about this, Centre for Ideas, Centre for Innovation, and you summed it really well, saying actually, as a result of that, you come out, with something special at the end. You come out as a slightly different person, helping to develop and maximise your skills. So, on behalf of everyone on the call, thank you very much to Adi and Rani. Thank you for sharing your journeys with us as well. Adrian, is there anything you'd like to say in conclusion?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone would like to get a key takeaway, so to speak, I think what I found really, really interesting is that, yes, we have real entrepreneurs within Lancaster University Management School that could guide you through the very fundamental of business and strategic management, launching your own business and all. But on top of that, right, they are very much focused on the innovation side of things, or creative side of things, to make your business more competitive and successful. So again, that would be my key takeaway, and I hope everyone enjoyed this session. Thank you. Angela, do you have anything they would like to add, or perhaps anything that I've missed?
Basically, they have to rely on their listening ability mainly. Yeah. And there's no slides, but there are a lot of information which is very useful. Although most of them are from high school, to build up their own business might be quite a challenging idea, but something to expect, and a lot of information for postgraduates. Students today. I think if there's a possibilities, we have some handouts for them in afterwards. For example, you mentioned about the technology will evolve. Students have to keep learning to build up during the process to build up their own business. I think those information might be also very helpful as well. So if there's any reference, can give it to them, will be wonderful.
I kind of touched on the importance of entrepreneurial mindset. I think that's one of the things that we emphasize. Yes, you might harbor a long-term ambition to run your own business, as Adi and Rani talked about, but actually you just might want to develop entrepreneurial skills that make you more employable, that help you to progress more in your career, to help you get the job that you want, to gear you up for the kind of world that we touched on there, that is very fast moving, that technology is changing, and you're adaptable and ready and flexible for that world. Okay, thank you.
The senior students is also very good because they have their personal experience, might be really adaptable.
Angela, if I can just add again, if there's any questions about that point of difference about the entrepreneurs in residence. I think for the management school, it's such a big difference that you can have, and you can see that Adi and Ronnie not only benefited from that, but then actually became entrepreneurs in residence themselves. So having that kind of network of experienced entrepreneurs that you can tap into to support you with your studies, to help with assignments, to help with creativity.
Mm-hmm. I think, Professor, we have one question in the chat box. Well, there are two, actually. One is the process of obtaining financial support.
So thank you very much, Angela. If I can just pick up those two questions in the chat. Thank you very much for posting those two questions. We have a range of different scholarships that are available for students. So you have a look at the website, study the different scholarships and different financial support that is available to you. But I would encourage you to do that. Is it possible for the lecturers to share experience on this? Yes, I can talk about that. We have a number of, or quite a large number of students every year who will apply for scholarship and may be successful in achieving financial support to join the management school.
May I double check the financial support you mentioned here is about the tuition or the building of business? Yes, I think they just added that. To get a financial support, yes, to get building up the business.
Okay, thank you very much for correcting that, Angela. That's really helpful. But okay, I can talk about that as well. We've kind of touched on a team called our Work in Progress team, which is part of a wider university support package that's available. Adi and Rani have been very involved in that over the years, and that's a wraparound support to help students who are considering setting up businesses, who are starting on their entrepreneurial journey, and there is support available through the Santander Fund. You can apply for startup funding to start your business at various different levels.
Actually, could I add to that as well, Richard? Yeah. Yeah, so in terms of the financial part, as Richard has mentioned, there's this kind of grant where you can pitch your business idea, and then if the judge think that your business idea is solid, it's sound, and there's a room, like basically it sounds feasible to be done, then they can grant you the money that you ask. Apart from the financial terms, there's also support in terms of more on the business building support. Of course, there's also work in progress where they can support you in terms of building it, but there's also support around the campus. Let's say some people from the Faculty of Arts and Science, Social Science, they offer their service for internship for the students. And if they, like, let's say they need to work on a brand building, they can partner with like business that are already set up, registered, that means registered. And then the students in that faculty can work with the business as part of their own graduation project or something like that. I remember, but that's it for now. Yeah.
Can I add something to this?
Yeah, go
Sure,
for it.
Adi.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So to sum it up, so you have support from enterprise team, which is work in progress, to have support from FAST. And also in Lancaster University, there are other departments. There is one like Unite Plus where you get intern for 140 hours and you can use that intern. You don't have to pay for that. You can use that intern to build up your basic business idea or app or marketing strategy or anything. Plus, from InfoLab, you get a technical support where you can have the digital prototype of your app developed. It is not based on any 140 hours or something, but it is based on the scope of your project. So you go to them telling that, okay, this is the scope, and they do the prototype for you. And it's, again, you don't pay for that. It's all funded by European Union before, but now I guess it's still European Union. So overall, there are lots of supports, and not just in Lancaster, but these universities in UK, they are affiliated or connected with each other. So you can also get, let's say, from UCLan, based in, like, you can still the student of Lancaster, and you can have a business support from UCLan because they have like the same internship schemes. So overall, there are lots of, I would say, sources. And also in terms of angel investment and venture capitalists, there are also lots of services around. So
okay, that's great. I'm very, very conscious on time. I know students will be, pressing to get to the next classes. I feel sure for that. A big thank you to Adi and Rani to share their journeys as students, having studied at the management school, becoming alumni, setting up their business, the support that was available through the management school, through the entrepreneurs in residence as well. So a big thank you to Adi and Rani. Thank you very much for that. Angela or Adrian, is there anything you'd like to add in conclusion?
No, it was really great. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, Adrian, thank you very much. Thank you for everybody for coming to join us. I'm sorry we overrun by a couple of minutes for that, but thank you very much. Thank you for some brilliant questions and comments in the chat as well. And we hope we might have a chance to welcome you to Lancaster University Management School.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.